right, here we go. We are at the house. We're going to do new builder orientation.
That's right. So my name's Christopher. I'm with Dryden Enterprises. I'm going to be going over this packet right here, and then I'm going to be going over this warranty. So and it's a lot of information, so I apologize. I'm going to talk kind of fast, but I'm going to touch the important parts kind of slowly. So this first page here, this is just a big congratulations on your new home. Thank you for choosing Dryden Enterprises. Our hours of operation Monday through Thursday are 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. We do take lunch from 12 to 1. So sometimes there's not someone answering phones. Most of the time there is though. And then Friday 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. We don't take a lunch Friday. We get off an hour early. So that being said, there's a part right here where it says email an online warranty request on this first page. And that second URL, the online warranty request, that's it. After closing, if y'all had some kind of discrepancy or found a deficiency in the house, you can reach out to us via this URL. I'm going to say it out loud. No, but www.dryden-homes.com/contact/homebuyer-warranty/or there's a QR you can scan with your phone. It'll take you to the exact same place. That's the easy way. You could always do it the hard way like me. But and then afterwards, if you wanted to check up on that work order, you could always just email us at warranty@dryden-homes.com. So this bottom part that's written out here, that's just all the stuff in this packet that I'm about to go over verbally. So I'm gonna flip these as I go. So this second page is just how to submit an online warranty request. So there's another URL here, and it's www.serviceonlinesolution1.com/340. And it's written right here in blue, and it's underlined. That same URL that I spit out a second ago is at the bottom of this paper, plus that same QR that you can scan with your phone. And it just walks you through the steps of submitting a work order. The very first thing you do is once you get to our portal, you would click on Start a New List of Repairs. And then after you've done that, you would just select Add a New Repair Item. And it'll have all these categories. It might say kitchen, and you click on that, and it'll have more categories, cabinets and countertops. It might say interior walls and trim, appliances, flooring, paint, so on and so forth. So we ask that you be as specific as possible. And then also, when you can, to submit a picture. Now we realize that if it's like a noisy pipe in the wall, you can't submit a picture, and we get that. But we ask that you be specific so that we know what we're walking into, and also with the picture, we can kind of get an idea. Sometimes things aren't warrantable, and we can sometimes tell from those pictures, and in that case, we'll have it on file, and if it gets worse over time, we'll see that. So, and we also ask you to add a picture, because if there can be a picture and there isn't one, we'll say it's an incomplete work order. We'll email you back and say, hey, send us a picture. But this talks you through all those steps, and it just tells you how to upload a file from your phone or from your PC. It's super informative, but it's just one of those things I have to glance at. And all this stuff that I'm going over today, as well as this nifty-difty homeowner maintenance tips handbook, that's going to come with you. It'll be available for you when you close, as well as the warranty handbook that I'm going to go over in here in a little bit. So this third page, that is just utilities for Griffith Park. Now it says Georgia Power and Canucci EMC, but that is not true. Canucci EMC is the power company here. And then the water and sewer, as well as trash removal, is all through the city of Hinesville. We do want you to know that right now we're paying the bill, but the utilities will be cut off 24 hours after closing. So it's important that you guys reach out and get that electric and but the water, sometimes you have to do that right after closing or during closing. That's fairly normal. We just want you to know that it will be cut off 24 hours later so that you guys don't have a lapse. And then down here you have the school districts for Griffith Park, just if that's applicable. We don't know if there's any little kiddos, but if there are, we got you covered. I'm going to flip that over. The back side of this third page is a subcontractor's contact list. And these are all the beautiful men and women that were involved in the building of your home. And if you'd like to get after closing work done on your house, you can reach out to whoever you like to. It's your house. And for example, if you wanted to get the back patio extended, you can reach out to anybody. You might have a friend in the area or someone that you know that knows someone that does that type of thing. You can reach out to whoever you like. We do ask that if it's a repair issue, you get in touch with us first and let us use our repair guys. And then if for some reason it's not warrantable, you can reach out to whoever you like. These would be a good place to get quotes if you wanted to get work done. We put that out there for you like that. I'm going to go ahead and get that one out of the way. Fourth page. Now, this page is all about the landscaping and the irrigation. I do want to note before I get started on the yard maintenance that the sprinkler heads, the control box for the irrigation, the pipes that the irrigation water runs through, as well as the sod, are not covered under our warranty. But we put this maintenance information out there for you. Now, that's not to say that if something were to happen the first week moving in, if maybe a pipe collapsed or something like that, we're not just going to leave you high and dry. We can come out and fix those things. But if it's from like a moving truck backing over it, it's going to fall into a negligence, non-maintenance thing, which we wouldn't cover that. But I'm not even going to get into that stuff. I'm going to talk about your grass. Now, you do have 419 Bermuda, it's the type of sod. We ask that you water it frequently in the first couple weeks of closing. It's been getting watered since it got put down fairly frequently. And one of the things that I'm going to do today is I'm going to set up the irrigation controls, and I will teach y'all in this little video that we're going to make later how to set it up if you want to change those control settings. Would you ask that when you fertilize, that you use 10-10-10 fertilizer? That's just the mixture. It's not the brand. You can use any brand you like, but that's the formula you want in it. And then when you fertilize, water it immediately, which that irrigation will come in big handy when you get to that part. Also, when you let it get ready to cut it, you want to grow it up kind of high and only take about a 1/4 inch off, because if you take it all the way down, it'll burn the roots up. You want to let it peg really good, and but you just don't want to burn it up. I'm gonna flip this one over. This one's kind of silly. The back side of page 4 here is suggested operating instructions put out there by the power company to save you guys a couple of dollars on your power bill every month. They say that if you set your, in the cold weather, if you set your thermostat for 68 degrees or lower, which I think that's cold, or 78 degrees or higher during the summer for cooling, which I think that's hot. But that'll save you a couple of dollars at the end of the month on your power bill. It's your AC, set it to what you like. We do ask that you change the filter once every 30 days. That's really the big thing. I'll go ahead and get this one out the way, and I'll keep on rolling. So this one, I'm gonna pick it up and I'm gonna show it to you. This one's kind of important. I put little stars on here so that you guys would remember it. Now this is about your heating and air system, which is installed by Bill's Heating and Air. We ask, you'll have 60 days from the day of closing to do this task. You have to get in the attic, record the air handler model and serial number, and then the outdoor unit, the heat pump, record that model and serial number. Go to rud.registermyunit.com and click on outdoor unit with air handler. All of our appliances in the house have a manufacturer's warranty. They're not covered under the QBW, which is quality builder's warranty. Like I said, appliances have a manufacturer's warranty. Your HVAC system has a 5-year manufacturer's warranty. If you register it, like I just said, extends it to 10 years. Super valuable. You want to do it. So I'm going to flip this one over. The back side of that sheet is a maintenance agreement that you guys could sign up for. It's put out there by Bill's Heating and Air, who installed the HVAC system. They have a 1-year, a 2-year, and a 3-year agreement. It includes all the things on that list. It is a good service, and as long as it's not going to be a headache to pay for it, it's worth it. If it's one of those things that you're stretching $1 to get to it, not really, in my opinion. But it is a good service. I don't go too in-depth on it just because, once again, it's not put out there by us. We just make you aware of it. But it's not a bad thing. And especially here in Georgia, where we have 9 months of summer, you will need that heat and air to work. Set. This next one, page 5 here, is care and cleaning for the acrylic block window. That is a tongue twister every time I say it. Now, every other glass surface in this house, you can use Windex or glass cleaner. It does not matter. This particular window, there's only one, and it's in the master bathroom. It's a big 4-foot by 4-foot window, or a 4040, as they would call it, and it's opaque. You can't see through it. You want to use mild soap and water on that window. And I'm not going to leave it at that. When we're doing the walk down, I say, that's the window right there. So we're not just going to touch base and leave it there. If you were to use a spray cleaner on it, like a Windex or a glass cleaner, it's going to stain it yellow-green. You're going to get mean, because I'm going to tell you, no, we can't fix it. And let's just save the tears. Use mild soap and water, because I'll be sad. This next page, backside of page 4, is about the granite countertops. Now, these were cut and installed by Mega Granite, and they lightly sealed them when they installed them. You can usually tell when it's time to reseal them. If you set a drink down and it leaves a little wet ring that doesn't go away after about 30 minutes or so, it's time to reseal them. Now Mecca Granite, they offer a 3-in-1 polish, cleaner, polish, and seal. Now I typically say if a company that cuts and installs it also has a cleaner for it, there's a reason. But as far as I know, any granite sealer will work on this. Any granite cleaner, any granite polish. You don't necessarily have to go and get a 3-in-1 Mega Granite cleaner, but if you submit your new countertop installation before and after photos with a testimonial at megagranite.com, they will send you one free can of that 3-in-1. I didn't even know that until very recently, so that's one of the things I do tell people about. But yeah, we like to make you aware. And while I'm talking about the countertops, and I'll talk about it again once I get to the warranty section, I always kind of say it once and then say it again because it sticks better that way. The actual granite countertops, they are not covered in the warranty for cracks, scratches, chips, or breaks. If it were to move though, that's something we'll warranty. Because if it moves, it could be in a situation where it could break easier, it could chip or scratch easier. So that's something I like to make people aware of. It is harnessed really good. I'm pulling on it, it ain't going nowhere. It's also a big heavy piece of stone basically. It shouldn't move on you, but if it ever did, get on that warranty program and let us know what's going on quickly. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna switch to the next page, page 5, coming at you fast. So this page is all about the floors that we're standing on, the LVP, that's laminate vinyl plank. Now, the manufacturer of these planks says that the only viable cleaning solution that you can use is called Bona, B-O-N-A. It says at the bottom here, it's highlighted, do not use any type of cleaning machine such as a spray mop, steam cleaner or mop, or a power cleaner. Now, Bona makes a branded Swiffer type of deal, and it's a light mist versus a heavy mist. That is viable. But you want to make sure you're using the cleaning solution, not the wax. You don't want to polish these floors, you just want to clean them. Now, obviously, water, they're in kitchen areas, they're in wet areas, so we know they're going to get wet. Prolonged wetness is what would be the problem. If they were just to get wet, as long as you clean it up in a reasonable amount of time, it's not going to affect the floors. But if it were to just, water were to sit on them for a day, it could be a problem. Like my father was military, he would dump a bucket of water. I would say, mop it up, boys. That is not the way. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna flip that. This one is in regards to the back side of page 5 there. It's about the arc fault breakers that you will find in your panel box. Now, typically, if you look behind me on the walls there, typically on that wall, you can see a ground fault interrupter receptacle, which is it's a GFI. We don't put those in there. We have them in the breaker box. And what this would do is it would teach you how to reset them if one of them were to trip. I'm going to teach you today. We're going to catch a little video of me showing y'all how to do it. And that way you'll have it on file. But if for some reason y'all lost the video, which shame on you. But if you did, you could always refer to this. It'll be in this note, this little folder here for you that you'll receive at closing. But it's super easy. And like I said, I'm going to let y'all get a little video of me at work. So this page here, the front part of the last page, page 6, is about the garbage disposal and troubleshooting for it if it stops working. Now, the garbage disposal is one of those appliances. It is an appliance. Fairly certain it has a 1-year manufacturer's warranty on it, but it's one of those things that because it gets heavy use, it's one of the things that you'll see wear and tear on the fastest. Firstly, you don't want to put rice, eggshells, noodles, or small grains in it. It's just not good for it. You want to make sure that you're running water while you put things in there. If it ever were to start experiencing problems, say you turn it on and it hums but it doesn't spin, you want to go through, it's got problems and 3 easy repair steps. Follow the repair steps to the T as best as you can. If that doesn't get it working, you can always put in an SOS or the Service Online Solution Program. You could put in a warranty request with us. I myself will come out and take a look at it. I'm going to go through the same repair steps that you did, and if we can't get it working, I'll help you get the ball rolling to get in touch with the manufacturer. I always tell people, because there's a little rubber insert that you can pull out and look down into the garbage disposal. People will pull that out, and I only know if this happened one time, but I always warn people of this because it's just a headache, and I don't want it to happen anymore. You can pull that out, and people will look down in there, and it looks like maybe something's stuck, and that's why they can't get it to spin. So they'll stick a screwdriver or a knife down in there, and they'll gouge it all up, trying to fix it, and eventually they'll realize that's the way it's built. And that's a part of the machine. So then we get to the point where we say, okay, we'll send it off to the manufacturer, they're gonna fix it, they're gonna replace it. they'll get it and see that you gouged up the inside with some kind of utensil and say, well, hey, you tampered with it, but we can't fix it. So always follow these steps. If that doesn't work, reach out to us. Never stick anything in there that doesn't go in there. And not even because of the what you'd expect, like if it were to turn on with the screwdriver, it won't turn on unless you tell it to. But I just worry about people. I know over time that someone gouged one up and didn't get it replaced because of that. So I always kind of warn people, this last page, or the back side of the page 6 there, is all about just the monthly minimum payment for the homeowners association of $25. Now, I'm fairly certain at the end of the year closing like this, they're going to prorate the homeowners association payments into the first initial payments. But at the start of the year, January, that'll be when you need to either figure out if you're going to pay it monthly, annually, quarterly, biannually. There's a lot of different options that they have there for people how they want to pay it. But as in regards to the HOA, I don't have a lot of information. That's stuff that will be presented though at closing, that HOA information. So that's the end of my first little packet of information. I'm gonna go ahead and I'll bottle this up and put it back in this folder like this.
I think he's done this a time or two.
Be surprised. More than I can remember.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go over the QBW. I'm gonna go over. It's a lot of information. I talk about it every day, at least 2 or 3 times. I do this presentation fairly often, and I still have questions. I still look at the handbook. I carry one around with me. I read it sometimes at lunch. You will be presented with the same handbook that I have at closing. But I still like to go over these things just because they give you kind of an idea, and then later on, if something happens, you're like, "Oh yeah, he said." So, and I'm gonna break it down kind of generically, and then I'm gonna go into some details. So, what you'll see, I'm gonna pick it up. What you'll see, this is the QBW. There's a lot more to it, the handbook than this, but it's a 10-year warranty, and the QBW, the Quality Builder's Warranty, is the #1 residential home builder warranty in the United States currently. So it is 10 years of coverage, but it breaks down kind of interestingly. So in that first year, all this stuff is covered here, but in the first year, really what you have here is the big coverage is workmanship. Was it put together correctly? Was it installed correctly? Does it work the way it's supposed to? So after the first year, all this coverage right here will come off and you'll be into the second year. Now the second year here, this is all circulatory system stuff. So it's like, how does you see a lack of water supply, pipe leaks. Now it says septic system fails, but there's no septic system. It's on city sewers. Don't worry about that. But pipe leaks, clogged drains and sewers, ductwork separates, and wiring fails to carry a specified electrical load. All that stuff is circulatory stuff. How does water, electricity, air, and waste flow through the house? So, I usually say cosmetic workmanship. How does it work? What does the skin look like? Circulatory system stuff. And then years 3 through 10, you have the bones of the house. This is structural warranty all the way through the 10 years. And you see columns, bearing walls and partitions, floor systems, which are the structural slab that we're standing on, the floor joists and the floor trusses above us. Your roof framing members, which are rafters. It says trusses also, but there's no roof trusses. There's just rafters up there. Foundation systems and footings, which are an integral part of the home and structurally attached. That would be your garage, very specifically. Load-bearing beams. You have a few throughout the house. They just support the weight in open areas. Girders and lintels. Lintels are headers. They go above doors and windows. And girders are the wood between in your floor trusses. So you have a top plate and a bottom plate, and there'll be wood in the center, whether it's X bracing or plywood. That is the girders. So I'm going to go over this in some detail. I'm going to set this back down like that. I'm going to go over some things specifically, especially in the first year, because that's the one that's really important. It's all important, but that's the one that typically we have the most interaction through. So in the first year, there's 2 things that are marked out on there, and I'm going to explain those first. So item 3 says siding and caulking. The siding is covered. If the siding is installed improperly, if it's broken when you move in, anything like that, we will come and fix those things. Now, obviously, a negligence or a non-maintenance issue is never something that the QBW will cover. So if you hit it with a weed whacker and damage it, that's not something that we can fix. But if it's just torn up, if it starts to melt, and we do have some hot summers here in Georgia, but if something like that ever happens, just reach out to us and we'll come out, we'll assess, and we'll go from there. The thing that's marked out though, and caulking, we will not come back and recalk. Now, You will catch more flies with honey than you will with vinegar. So if I'm here actually working on something for you or checking something out, and you go, hey, Chris, I got this big old gap right here. Do you think you can caulk that? I will, as long as you're kind. But if you say you're going to do that, I'm going to tell you, no, I'm not. Because it's not actually in my job scope. But I like to make people aware that you can get things that aren't necessarily involved in the warranty. You just have to kind of finagle it a little. So the bottom one that I have marked out, number W or letter W, would be water infiltration. That's specifically water coming from the outside to the inside. Now you'll notice right here on line 2 it says roofing. Your roof is covered. If it leaks, we're going to take care of that. We're going to fix the leak. We're also going to fix the damages that happen. But water infiltration would be like, say it rained for weeks on end, we didn't get a break, and water were to come up in the backyard, come in the front door, the back door, through the garage or something like that. What we would do is we would look and determine, was it something that we did wrong? Was it installed or not properly sealed? And we'll fix that. But the damages that would be caused a lot of times are going to be homeowners insurance that would fix those things. So I like to make people aware of the things that I'm going to say. There's a guaranteed no in those departments. Like I said, though, with the caulking, if you ask nicely, a lot of times I'll do it. Just because I like to make people happy. Smiles are a great thing. So I'm going to start going line by line, and there's about 13 of them in that first year, but I'm just going to touch on them. I'm going to tell you the very specific, important parts of them. And like I said, we could talk about this for days. I talk about it every day. And still, there's things that I still have questions about. So, lot grading and drainage, line number 1. So we typically say if we had a rain and water pooled within 10 feet of the house for longer than 48 hours when it rained, that's a drainage issue. There's something the water's holding, we need to fix that. And you could get in touch with us and we would. So, line number 2 is roofing. And we already kind of talked about that. But in the first year, if you have a roof leak, we are going to come back, we're going to fix that leak, and we will fix the problems that occur from that leak. Number 3 is siding. We already talked about that, but I'll touch it again. If your siding is hanging off, if it's improperly installed, if it gets damaged from the weather or something like that, that's something we can take care of in that first year. Line number 4 is masonry and concrete. Now, masonry is funny because there's only a little bit, and it's the columns are wrapped in hardy board, which is technically like a cement board. So that would be your masonry, but the concrete. Now, the driveway, the front and back patios, and the walkway from the driveway to the front patio, those things are not covered. Those are a 4-inch contractor pour. That's very common. But the garage itself and the slab we're standing on, not only are they covered, they're covered all the way through that 10 years. Now, in the garage specifically, you'll notice that we cut a cross section of cuts. They're expansion cuts. That's to allow it to breathe and adjust. It'll kind of move around during the changing of the seasons. That's not uncommon. In those areas where we have those expansion cuts, if you were to see spiderweb cracking, what they call hairline fractures almost, that's fine. It's completely normal. It would be problematic when they start to open up or they get uneven. If you can stick a quarter in a crack, that's a problem. That's typically what I tell people. Or if you can tell that it's one side's higher than the other in the garage specifically, or like if you could feel it in the floor or something like that, that's something we can take care of. Chimneys and fireplaces, don't worry about line number 5. There's no chimney, there's no fireplace. Number 6, windows and doors. Now, does it function the way it's supposed to? Opens, closes, locks, unlocks with reasonable force. When I say reasonable force, it should never feel like you're breaking it. To lock it, it should never feel like you're breaking it. To unlock it, it should never feel like you're going to break it, opening and closing it. It also, in regards to the windows and the doors, now the glass panes that are in there, if you were to shut the door and it sounded like that glass pane were like jiggling around in there, that's not okay. Reach out to us, we can get that fixed. It's pretty easy to fix, actually, most of the time. Now, and if the doors were starting to separate or to warp or things like that, get in touch with us. It's too easy. We can get you fixed up. Interior walls and trim, line number 7. I lump interior walls and trim with plumbing and electrical, and there's a big reason why, and it'll make sense, hopefully, by the end of it. So interior walls and trim, now that is the baseboard, the quarter round, the door casing, that stuff's covered. That's the sheetrock and the paint. In that first year, sheetrock and paint are covered. So, and one time in the first year, what we'll do is something, you might experience what we call a nail pot. And it's as the house kind of expands and contracts over the changing of seasons, where the screw heads are attaching the sheetrock to the studs. You have a little pocket there and it breathes out, so it creates a bigger pocket, and then when it breathes back in, you have a dimple, a little round dimple. One time in that first year, we'll come back and we'll scratch those divots out, reset that nail, and we'll skim back over the sheetrock mud. Then we'll have a painter come in and sand it and paint it, unless you've changed the paint color. It's your house, you can do whatever you like. We do have a little bit of touch-up paint for you in the garage. You'll have some at closing, because we know it's going to get scuffed up when you're moving in. If you guys want to put a little paintbrush on it, that's fine. That's why we do that. But with that nail pot, what I typically tell people, just to get the most out of the warranty, is make notes of them in the first year. And then when you're getting close to your 1 year, to the end of your 1 year, put in a warranty with us. Say, I want my 1 year nail pot. We'll come in and we'll find them. We'll scratch them out, fix them up, have a painter come and paint them. Unless you change the paint once again. And this is why it plays into plumbing and electrical. Kind of the same thing. So with the electrical, the fixtures, the wiring, the switches, those things are covered. Same thing with plumbing. Fixtures, pipes, scald protection units, as well as mixing valves and showers and tubs. All those things are covered in that first year. But if you were to change this fixture, you'd be voiding the warranty on this fixture. Same thing with the plumbing. If you change a shower